Rachel Nichols is joining us live in studio. And, you know, Rachel, I love watching Indiana play, but you know, I think we all look at, the Celtics are coming back and Oklahoma City's future, and watch Wemby. If they re-sign Miles Turner, they have a lot of ascending players. I think people are forgetting this team got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and was bad defensively. I mean, my take is I think Indiana's talent, Rachel, doesn't take a back seat 1 through 8 to anybody right now in this league.
Certainly not in the Eastern Conference, right? I mean, especially with Tatum out all next year, they have to be the favorite going into next season, no matter how this finals plays out, because look at what they have done, to your point, and they're going to have more confidence going into next season. Again, even if they lose the finals, they will now have a team full of players who have been to the NBA Finals, who are hungry to get back to the NBA Finals, and who have the wherewithal to know that they can finish games even when they're behind. And that's really the strength of this Pacers team. They play for all 48 minutes. There have been team after team after team that keeps falling into this trap, and I don't understand it. But we see teams let up on them, and sometimes it's exhaustion. The Thunder looked tired last night, Colin, and it's going to be interesting with only a day off between games to see how they come out on Friday.
You know, it's you know, we're going through an era. I grew up in the 1970s, which I reference all the time, much to the chagrin of J-Mac, is that I grew up with the Walton, Jeff Petrie, Maurice Lucas Blazers, and then the downtown Freddie Brown, DJ Gus Williams Sonics, and then the Rick Barry, Clifford Ray, Al Adel Warriors, and Dr. J and the Sixers. Everybody won one.
Yep.
Everybody won one. And people say, what the league was. My great memories of the NBA as a kid are all from the 70s. And we're going through the same thing where every year it's a different team in the NBA. And last night was a real moment for me because I looked at myself and I thought, man, is this team going to run off multiple titles? And they do have a little bit of a kryptonite. They need the whistle. And when SGA doesn't get the whistle, Rachel, you saw it last night. Their shot creation the last 6 minutes was bad. So I feel like you can kind of look and go, everybody's got, like, Jokic wasn't a great defender. That was their kryptonite. Like, you could attack Jokic. Do you think Indiana looks this morning at OKC and thinks, we found a little bit of their kryptonite, which is attack SGA. If he doesn't get the whistle, they're 4-4 in 8 playoff games when he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, this is a nerdy stat, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was actually the closest defender on the most amount of Indiana shots, I think 23 shots. So that tells you that they were involving him, they were going at him, and what happened, the result was that they were scoring. So yes, I think that is a little bit of it. But big picture, I guess my thought is that we are so quick in sports today to rush to be like, they're amazing or they're trash. And in this case, it was the Thunder are one of the best teams ever. The Thunder were one of the best teams this season. They're one of the best teams of the last few years. Their point differential, the way they won games was historic. But this team is not the 86 Celtics. This team is not the 2001 Lakers. This is not Steph Curry's Golden State Warriors in their prime. It is a team that is young, that, as you say, has some flaws here and there. And we'll still have to see with SGA. I mean, look, if he wins this finals and wins finals MVP, he will already have the accolades to get into the Hall of Fame, just off this 1 year. Scoring title, regular MVP, finals MVP if he gets it, title, that kind of thing. But he's not there yet. They haven't won yet. So we just have to see how good this Thunder team is. And what I love is that the Pacers are showing people they are better than people thought. The gap is smaller than people thought, and they are going to test the Thunder.
Yeah, okay, let's talk Knicks. I'm going to leave the dance floor open here. James Dolan was gone for a couple years, you know, creating the sphere, and they became very pragmatic, and they were very patient. I mean, they were like, not the Knicks. And this is not a shot at Dolan, but he fashions himself as an artist and a friend to artists. And all the names I see as the next coach are all star coaches, like Phil Jackson as GM. I'm telling you, it feels like they're kind of bailing water here, or do they have a plan?
Well, they clearly don't have a plan. I mean, that's obvious. And you can quibble about the Thibodeau thing. I would never have fired him after he led the Knicks to their best season in 25 years, after all he has done in the 5 years he has been there, has won. And by the way, I've covered Tibbs on 3 different teams. I've known him for 20 years. I understand that the Tibbs experience wears on people. I'm not saying that he was a perfect coach or there weren't problems, but this is a results-based business. And he got the results. And some of the complaints I've heard coming sort of in the reporting from players has been like, oh, we didn't have enough scrimmages in the preseason. What? That's what you're talking about now? There's some complaints about, oh, we didn't practice end-of-game situations enough. I don't know. You won enough end-of-game situations that you got to Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. And by the way, the longer the Pacers extend this finals, they don't even have to win it. The longer they extend it, the more that losing to the Pacers in 6 games feels like, is that really a fireable offense? So I had a problem with the decision to begin with. And to do this and not know who your next coach is just a little bit insane. And then to really ask around to 6 different teams if their coaches are available is a lot insane. And the line out of Madison Square Garden is they're just trying to assess who is and isn't available. That is not how you do this. And by the way, who thought Ime Udoka would be available? Who thought that Chris Finch, who just led Minnesota to 2 back-to-back conference finals and has a great relationship with his star, would be available? I mean, just my 13-year-old could have told you that. It shocks me the way they're going about this. It really does.
So I want to talk about Giannis. KD fits almost everywhere. I think San Antonio is a bit of a weird fit for him, but he fits in Houston, he fits in Miami, he fits in New York. Giannis, to get Giannis, you have to give up draft capital. Mm-hmm. And I think I've told you this, Rachel. I think that NBA draft is going to get better going forward because more players are staying in college basketball with NIL, and they're also stealing top European players from Spanish leagues. So college basketball, that Kentucky, that UConn team 2 years ago, mm-hmm. that's like 7 NBA guys. Like we're going back to a time when Ewing and Georgetown and Duke, it was like those teams had NBA guys that could play. So I don't think giving up draft picks, which 10 years ago, I mean, you were getting 18-year-olds.
Right.
I wouldn't give up draft picks. How big do you think the Giannis market is? We know KD, you don't have to give up as much, but you're changing the ecosystem with Giannis. I saw a story yesterday. Nope, he won't leave. This roster is not good enough to compete. I mean, outside of Giannis, who on this roster could play for Indiana? So what is your gut feeling on Giannis in Milwaukee?
Well, look, I think there is a good chance that he stays, and I think it is about more than winning. I mean, guys who have been around the league for a long time understand that to win a title, you have to have not only the roster, not only the players, not only the chemistry, you have to have a tremendous amount of luck. The wrong guy can't get injured at the wrong time. Giannis himself has been on the other end of that 3 years in a row now. Who you run up against in the bracket. So changing and uprooting your whole life to be like, oh, maybe with this team I could get a title. There are players who will do that every time, and then there are players who think twice about that sort of thing, and I think that is what Giannis is doing right now. If he does decide to leave, if he's, you know what, I need a second ring, I'm going to chase it, I'm going to see where I can go. If you are a team that is close, I disagree with you, Colin. I would give up the farm for Giannis Antetokounmpo. I would give up anything that they want that would still keep me with enough of a championship core, because the future is the future. If you win a title, maybe even 2 titles, because you added Giannis Antetokounmpo to an already stacked roster, which are those are the teams that are really most in the market for him, right? Where they really feel like they have something already and they're one Giannis away from a title. He is not only one of the best players in the league. If his numbers had been in a vacuum this year, he would have won MVP. If Jokic and SGA didn't exist and weren't dueling the way they were, Giannis absolutely would have won MVP. He's only 30 years old. He's still at the top of his game. He's so dominant. I would absolutely tear things up. It's certainly my future picks. If I could get Giannis and I was a team that was close-ish to a championship, close-ish, I'd do it.
By the way, before we go, Malone from Denver, I know he runs hot, but he's considered a very good scheme coach. Like, he knows his stuff. Is he in the running? Like, why isn't he being mentioned?
I think just because he and Tibbs are so alike. And I think some of the reasons Tom did get fired from New York is being a bit set in his ways, of being a bit obstinate about things. Michael Malone is known for both of those things. You know, the latest reporting is that they are now that they've moved on from asking other guys for their wives, basically, asking other teams for their head coaches, they are now talking to Mike Brown. They're looking at Taylor Jenkins. Those names are the names I would have expected them to start with. And, you know, they could be good fits there. We'll see. I mean, they're both excellent coaches. But I still, you know, they've set such a bar with firing Tom after Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, whoever comes into that job, if they don't win a title, the Knicks have already told all of us that that's a failure, and that's quite a strange thing to do as a franchise.
Yeah, I whenever I hear that coach runs hot, Steve Kerr runs hot.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Spoelstra. I mean,
there are some
Popovich.
broken clipboards. Yes.
Yeah, like these guys all run hot. It's an intense league. Rach, great seeing you as always.
Thank you.